I'm Danny Amendola. You're watching Math with Matthew.
It's Math with Matthew. So go kick off your shoes. Increase your worldview. It's Math with Matthew.
On this episode, we welcome Carol Scheinbart, Katie Haynes, Katie Lucente, Michelle Wagner, and Amanda Dalton. And now, your host, Chelmsford's Mathematics Coordinator, Dr. Matthew Bayronova!
X equals 3.
Thank you. Oh, nice to meet you. Welcome. Welcome to Math with Matthew. I'm Dr. Matthew Bayronova, the Mathematics Department Coordinator for the Chelmsford Public Schools. Welcome to our second show. Many mathematicians are not up to date with pop culture and are often claimed to be eccentric. Well, this mathematician is here to break the mold on that belief. Over 340 million people have seen the video, What Does the Fox Say? Well, with the help of some of Parker's School Council students, we asked and answered the fundamental question, what is the value of pi? Let's take a look.
Plus means addition, minus means subtract, x means multiply, and slash means divide. M is the slope, y is a variable, and the b is the intercept. U is for union, f is for function, and the quartiles label q. But there's one value that no one knows.
What is the value of pi?
3.141592653897932384624.
What is the value of pi?
3383279502884197169399375.
What is the value of pi?
10582097494592307816462. Can I stop now?
Thank you to Mr. Mack, Mr. Williams, Miss Dolan, Mr. Peterson, and Lucas Miratore for their great work on that video that can be found right on YouTube. Now, this is our middle school show where we focus on all things math at Parker and McCarthy Middle Schools. On this episode of Math with Matthew, we will first learn about our Math Counts After School Club. We will then learn about the co-teaching model within the mathematics classes. And finally, we will learn more about the flipped classroom approach in mathematics. Let's begin this show, though, by meeting all of our great math teachers at the middle school level. right, let's get started. We begin this show by learning about the Math Counts after school program that takes place at both Parker and McCarthy Middle School. We welcome on the show the coach and 7th grade mathematics teacher from McCarthy Middle School, Mrs. Scheinbart. Welcome to the show, Mrs. Scheinbart.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brown.
Thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
All right, so tell me, what is Math Counts?
Math Counts actually is a national organization that engages students and tries to strive to promote learning mathematics and improving their skills through fun and engaging activities.
So what's your role as the coach of the McCarthy Math Counts team?
Easy to answer that. I like to see myself, rather than in a role as a teacher, more as a role as a facilitator. We're very lucky at both McCarthy and Parker Middle Schools. We both have 2 clubs, like you said. I'm the advisor over at McCarthy, and Ms. Cohane, she's the advisor over at Parker.
And tell me about what your role is in regards to a competition that occurs.
Glad you asked that, okay? In a couple of weeks, we actually over at McCarthy will be participating with many other schools in the Middlesex County in the first leg of the National Math Counts competition. Like I said, it is a national competition, and we start by inviting other schools to our McCarthy Middle School cafeteria. For that afternoon, we're going to engage in various math competitions. Amongst our schools, one of the schools will be picked as the top schools, and they will continue on into the competition. And in spring, there will actually be a national competition.
And that competition is going to be right here in Chelmsford, Thursday, February 13th at McCarthy Middle School. So what's your favorite part about being a coach and being involved in this after-school club and competition?
Well, that's an easy question to answer, okay? One of the things that I love about Math Counts is the camaraderie that I see amongst all the students. Students can join Math Counts whether they be in 5th grade or the 8th grade, okay? Oftentimes, it's the 7th and 8th graders students helping the younger students, but it's amazing the amount of back and forth discussion that goes on when we're answering problems, and everybody has something to add to the discussion.
Now, if someone were to come and observe a Math Counts, practice after school, what would they see?
Believe it or not, you'd see a lot of activity. Students are out of their seat, like I said. Students are up on the board. Other students are working at their desk. Again, a lot of exchange, a lot of conversation, trying to solve different problems. Again, one student may have one approach, talking it over with others, coming up with other ideas. A lot of activity, a lot of fun.
Great. So let's take a look at one of these after-school practices from both McCarthy and Parker Middle School. When we return, we will meet one of the students on the team who has a special mathematical talent. Welcome back. We are continuing our discussion on Math Counts, and now welcome in 8th grade Parker student, Katie Haynes. Welcome, Katie, to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming on. So, Katie, how long have you been involved in Math Counts?
This is my first year.
What made you want to join Math Counts?
Well, me and some friends were all really interested in math, so we decided we'd try it.
And how's it been so far? Have you enjoyed doing it?
Yeah, it's been really fun.
So tell me a little bit about the program. What is it you do after school in Ms. Cohane's Math Counts program at Parker?
Well, it's different every week, but normally we all get a worksheet at the beginning of class, and it has like 10 problems on it, and we work on that for a while, and then normally after that we go onto the Math Counts website, and then we do the problem of the week on the board, and then we write down the answers.
What are some of your favorite things about Math Counts?
Well, I like hanging out with my friends after school, and we all love doing math. And we've learned a lot more like interesting equations and stuff. And I don't know, it's just been fun.
Are you looking forward to the competition that's coming up in a few weeks?
Yes, yeah, we're gonna do good at that.
I think you will. It's going to be great. Now, I have to tell you, there's a rumor that you have a special mathematical talent. Is that true?
Yes.
What is that talent that you have?
I have memorized somewhere from like 600 to 700 digits of pi.
So off the top of your head, you know the first 600 digits to the value of pi?
Yes.
Wow, excellent. Would you mind sharing the first maybe 200, 250 digits of pi for the audience here today?
Okay.
Great.
9384460, 95505822317, 2535940812848, 1117, 4502, 84102701, 938521110, 5559, 644288109756659334446, 128475648233786 783, 1652712019091, 4564856692234.
Wow, Katie, very impressive. Wow, now how many digits was that you just recited?
That was 264.
264, and you actually can do more than that?
Yeah, like more than double that.
Wow, that was very impressive. How did you ever get started, thinking about trying to memorize the digits of pi?
Well, in 6th grade, my teachers, Miss Salmon and Miss Trainer, they had a big Pi Day celebration on March 14th.
Yeah.
And they had a competition to see who could memorize the most digits of pi by the end of the day. And so, like, all that day I just practiced them, and I learned like 41 by the end of the day. And then, like, the next day at school, I came in knowing like 76. And so
It just kept growing and growing?
Yeah.
And you've done something at the talent show at Parker. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the past 2 years at the Parker Talent Show, the first year I said 250 digits of pi. Then last year I said 500 digits of pi in the talent show. Yeah.
And this year you might go for 700?
Yeah, possibly more.
Possibly more. Wow, that's great. Well, good luck in your work on pi and good luck on math counts. Thank you so much, Mrs. Scheinbart. Thank you, Katie, for coming on the show, sharing with us about math counts at both of the middle schools. We're going to return in a moment to learn about co-teaching in mathematics classes after this promo video for CTM's newest show, Ion Park. I'm Dr. Matthew Bayronovan, the coordinator for mathematics for the Chelmsford Public Schools.
And I'm Dr. Linda Hirsch, coordinator of English Language Arts.
And I'm Anne-Marie Fiore, Director of Technology and Information. Join us for our new show called Ion Park.
We will give you up-to-date information about the new Park Standardized Assessment in a game show format.
Ion Park can be seen at 10:30, 1:30, and 4:30 right here on channel 22 Comcast and 36 Verizon.
So stay tuned for Ion Park.
And as you know, math is such an important part of the new Park assessment.
I'm sorry. Well, actually, Matthew, English is much more important than mathematics. So, you see, when it comes to English Language Arts,
math is the most important subject that we have in school and for the Park assessment.
You need to stop talking. I already established this. When it comes to...
Since it's an online assessment, I think technology is most important.
I'm Dr. Matthew Bayronovan.
And I'm Dr. Linda Hirsch.
Join us for Ion Park.
Welcome back. Our next segment will focus on co-teaching in the mathematics classes. And we will welcome on 8th grade mathematics and special education teachers at McCarthy Middle School, Mrs. Lucente and Mrs. Wagner. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to be discussing co-teaching today. Can you folks tell us what is co-teaching?
Well, co-teaching in Chelmsford in mathematics, and they also do it in ELA now, is a combination of a regular educator and a special educator in the same classroom. So we can serve the needs of not only our special ed students, but our regular ed students in an inclusive classroom.
So how is the co-taught class different from the traditional classroom, Ms. Wagner?
The biggest difference I find is we have the support of two educated professionals who can address the needs of all students at any various time, whether it be focusing in on a lesson, just having that additional support in the class and a different perspective from another teaching standpoint.
And could each of you share for me how students actually benefit from this? What are the benefits to having this model?
Well, what I found is that when, say, a student is absent or a student didn't quite understand something, they have an opportunity to work with Mrs. Wagner, either inside the classroom at that moment or in her own classroom during, say, a study skills session. And that, I think, is one of the major benefits, is that we don't have that extra time with our other students while we would with our supported students.
In addition, we do have the opportunity, rather than interrupting an entire lesson that is being instructed, there's someone that can move about the classroom and kind of target in on kids that aren't so apt to raise their hand and say, I need a little extra help on this. We're able to identify them and give them a little bit more privacy.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this extra study skills time. What is it you do with these kids in that co-taught time?
The study skills time we use in resource for reinforcement of skills, any reteaching of lessons within the co-taught class that we find students need a little bit more time on the material to really, that they're confident in mastering those skills. And so we do games, we have different opportunities to make study guides, study approaches, and it's just a great communication time.
Well, let's not take any more time. Let's actually take a look. Let's see Mrs. Lucente and Mrs. Wagner in action in the co-taught session. We'll be right back after this video clip of their classroom. And we're back again with Mrs. Lucente and Mrs. Wagner talking about the co-teaching model. So how long have each of you been co-teaching? Katie?
Well, this is my 8th year of teaching, co-teaching as well. I've co-taught every year that I've been in McCarthy. As
a special educator, I have the advantage of being able to co-teach in English language arts as well as math. First, as an IPSP in the classroom, working with a couple of sets of different teachers and seeing that model put together, and then assuming the role this past year along with Mrs. Lucente, and it's been a pleasure.
Great. How do you like working together to improve student learning in mathematics?
It's such a benefit to work with a special educator. I feel like I'm always learning, because for me, math has always been pretty flowing and straightforward, and I don't always see where the pitfalls would be for students, and it's wonderful to have another set of eyes to be like, oh, you know what could help all of the students, and it really does not just help our, kids who are supported, but it helps every single student to see things in a different perspective.
Sure. Anytime you have two educators together, it's really great to have the support and also seeing the different avenues sometimes that the other teacher will take, and then that you might not even have thought of. That gives that children that extra opportunity and advantage.
And I would say from my perspective in your guys' classroom as well as the other classrooms throughout both Parker and McCarthy, seeing this co-taught model really seems to work and makes a positive impact on student learning. So thank you for the great work that you're doing. Thank you to Mrs. Lucente and Ms. Wagner for coming on the show. It's time for our new highly acclaimed segment, Ask Math You. I gave middle school parents the opportunity to ask any questions that they had about the mathematics department at the middle school level, and I answer them for everyone now on the show. Let's get to our first question.
What math program do you use at the middle school?
In 5th grade, we continue the math expressions program that we use at the elementary level. We have an updated Common Core version that we began this year. For 6th through 8th grade, we have begun the brand new Common Core aligned Big Ideas program, and thus far the feedback on that program has been great.
Can you tell me what the difference is between the honors level math and the accelerated math once you enter 7th grade in middle school?
The honors program in the 7th grade covers all of the 7th grade standards and half of the 8th grade Common Core state standards. This is done so that 8th grade students can take a complete Algebra 1 course that covers both the 8th and 9th grade standards while in middle school. The accelerated level covers the entire 7th grade standards in the textbook at a faster pace than the 7th grade math class, and provides time for students to be able to tackle more difficult problem-solving opportunities.
Can you tell me the difference between Study Island and Extra Math?
Study Island helps students master state-specific, grade-level academic standards in a fun and engaging manner. They provide standards-based instructional practice, assessment, and productivity tools that improve the performance of educators and students via a web-based platform. Now, Extra Math is a free web program that we use within Chelmsford primarily at the elementary level to help students master their basic math facts.
Can you tell me about the Math Counts after school program?
Great question, as this question was actually the catalyst for our first segment on the show, Math Counts. Thanks for the great idea. And now, for our final segment, we're going to learn more about the flipped classroom. Last year, we began the process with Mr. Felzani and Ms. Harvey, and now we're going on-site into the classroom with our field reporter, Matthew. Take it away, Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. We are here at Parker Middle School with 7th grade math teacher, Mrs. Dalton, who's going to be sharing with us some information about how she is flipping the classroom for mathematics instruction. Welcome, Mrs. Dalton. So can you tell me, what is the flipped classroom and how did you get started using it?
Well, think about your typical middle school classroom. You know, rows of kids paying attention to the teacher at the whiteboard, probably getting bored, and flip that around. They go home at night, instead of doing 20 problems in the book, they watch a video that I've created. And they take notes, and then they come to class and they can participate in the learning. So I can help them with the problems in the book as opposed to standing up at the board lecturing, and they can work in small groups. So it is a more interactive learning experience as opposed to just one person teaching and the kids writing the notes and taking lessons. I got into it because of the UDL class that Chelmsford offers, and a couple of the teachers at the high school use it, and I thought it was a great idea to implement in middle school so that they've seen it before when they get to the high school.
Ms. Dalton, what is EduCreations and how has it helped your students learning about mathematics?
So I found an iPad app called EduCreations, and actually you can get the EduCreations on a computer as well. If you have a microphone, you can make a lesson. And it's basically an online whiteboard. So I talk, I write on the whiteboard, and I create my direct instruction right on the iPad, and they can go home. They have a login account, and I assign it. They can watch it. It's usually about 8 to 10 minutes.
So Mrs. Dalton, you're telling me that by using the flipped classroom and these EduCreation videos, students are enjoying mathematics more and are also more engaged during class?
I've actually seen a lot of improvement with student performance in the classroom, and I don't just mean like on a test. I mean like class participation, group discussions, using a vocabulary, answering the problems correctly right the first time instead of having to redo it again. And on assessments, of course, I've noticed a big difference. The kids love it and are more engaged and participate a lot more. They're eager to participate as opposed to that, well, I think I might know the answer, but I'm not sure, I haven't been taught it yet.
Ms. Dalton, can you tell me about this lesson that we're going to see?
Students will learn how to take two ratios and determine whether they form a proportion or not. and they watch that the night before. So in class, I'm asking them whether they had any problems with the video, if they had any questions, and we're kind of doing the problems in class. I'm able to help individual students ask leading questions, ask guiding questions, and heighten their knowledge of the portions.
How do you know if the students are actually watching the videos that you assign for homework?
So students have a login account, which we set up probably a few months ago, and they can log in. I've assigned the video. So on my end, I can click on a specific class and I can see who has watched the video. And then I also make them take notes. So they have to come in the next day with their notes. And it's not just, oh, I copy down what's on the video, but instead they have to interact with the notes. So they give an exclamation point if they understood it, they give a question mark if it's confusing and we need to go over it tomorrow. So it's an interactive way to take notes.
And what are the parents' perspective on the flipped classroom and their kids watching videos as part of their homework?
So the first time I assigned the video, I got an influx of emails. This is great, Miss Dalton. Like, I'm able to watch the video with my child. I think they feel a part of the classroom, so they can watch the video, they can know how I teach, they can know what to expect. They like the fact that the kid doesn't have to do 30 minutes of homework every single night or an hour of homework every single night. They can watch an 8 to 10 minute video. And you know, students work at different paces, so at home they can pause the video, and parents really like the fact that their kid can take 20 minutes to watch an 8-minute video at home if they needed to.
So this flipped classroom idea is great, and a lot of what you've told us has to do with using an iPad to create the videos. What if a teacher wants to try this but doesn't have access to an iPad? What can they do?
The flipped classroom is not necessarily, okay, you have to have a video that you created, but it could be a video that's online. EduCreations has a ton of already made videos from teachers, although the best way is to be the teacher to your own students. So you can log on right there on a computer. If you have a microphone and a mouse, you can make the video right on the computer as opposed to having the iPad. You can, they can upload videos from YouTube or Khan Academy or EduCreations and have their students watch it at home.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dalton, for being on the show, sharing with us that information about the flipped classroom and what you are doing to engage your students. What we're going to do now is go back to the studio with Matthew.
Well, that's it for Math with Matthew today. Thanks so much for watching the show. Thank you for all the guests for being on the show. Thanks to Mr. Peterson and his A-Block crew at Chelmsford High School. Thank you to everyone at Chelmsford Telemedia, Anne-Marie Fiore, Dr. Frank Tiano. Thanks so much for watching. Our final episode of Math with Matthew for Season 2 will be coming up this spring. Let's end this show by one more time seeing the video, What's the Value of Pi? Thanks, everyone.
Plus means addition, minus means subtract, x means multiply, and slash means divide.